Okay, everybody. Hope you're here. Hope I can see you. I'm going to try to look this time. Last time I forgot to look at your comments, even though I asked you to comment. So, hey, hope you're here. I know I'm about a minute early. No, now it says 11 o'clock exactly. So, I hope you're here. So let's review really quick. The last time we met, I gave you 10 days to do a little homework. And your homework was... Now see, then I stopped to read, and I get sidetracked. So your homework was to create a list of 100 people and categorize them between 1 and 4. And 1 was like, I don't know if they're interested at all in natural things. And 4, well, this person already lives a healthy lifestyle. I think they'd be really open to natural resources and healthy answers, a new way to do healthcare. And they were your number 4. So then I said, write out your why, and I gave a lot of explanation, my own feeling of why your why is so important. And I hope that that really resonated with you, and I hope that you really did that homework. So 26 of you said you did, and you put I'm ready. So let's talk about that. I did a drawing. I always use random name picker because I would have too hard of a time picking. And it's very funny because today, for the Aroma Touch Kit, the amazing Aroma Touch Kit with 8 different oils, hopefully you all know how amazing that is, Carrie Kieski won. Now I'm so glad I used random name picker and did take a picture of it so I can post it so you don't accuse me of nepotism. So congrats, Carrie, and hi, Gwen, and hi, Coco. Anyways, I hope Carrie's on to know that she just won the Aroma Touch Kit. So, what am I want to talking about? What do I want to talk about today? I feel like, well, let me state my intention, because most of the people on here and what this was intended for is brand new builders or brand new people who want to share doTERRA. And so I'm calling it emerging leaders. So there's some experienced people on here too, and a lot of them are your leaders like Jolie and Gwen and Gail and Carrie. But I want this to be so easy that all of us can do it, because that's pretty much what we all hear is, well, I can't do it like you, or I could never teach a class, or whatever. And I want you to know you can teach a class, and it's very easy. And so this is for emerging leaders, so I hope you're here. I hope you're getting on. And so I think that what I keep experiencing, and I was probably guilty of this even in the beginning, is we're looking for the magic sauce. We see the people that are diamonds, blue diamonds and all this, and making buku money, and we think, I wish I could be them, or they're so lucky. And if you're ever guilty of making that comment, they're so lucky, I want you to really think about that and know that that's not really true. There's really not a whole lot of luck involved. It's perseverance. Oftentimes it's not even talent, or it's not even charisma. It's just perseverance and just being passionate about something. So I truly believe that the magic sauce is you. And we're going to talk more about that. So, but real quick, let's, I want to go backwards before we go forward, because I can't say it enough, and I know a lot of you have heard me say it over and over, but you have to know what your why is. Why do you care enough to share about doTERRA? Why do you believe in the product? What do you want it to do for you that you're passionate enough to share about it? And what financial freedom or things are you looking for? And that's really, really important. And some of you may know, most of you don't know, but about 20 years ago or so, I worked at a church in San Diego, and one of the pastors that I worked for was Larry Lamb. He still remains a really good friend. But when I worked for him as his personal assistant, he gave me this little saying, and I'm going to read it to you. It's probably showing backwards. But he went over this with me, and he said, I want you to remember why you're doing what you're doing. And it says vision. And it says, if you properly value the heavenly prize, it will compel you to give of yourself and your resources. Fervency springs from a vision of heaven's rewards. And that's from John MacArthur Jr. But why do you think he did that? He did that because he wanted me to remember why I was doing what I was doing. Because in the everyday life and the everyday things you do, especially working at a church, there would be times I would be listening to people's complaints or whining or complaining, or people would want something maybe that they didn't necessarily need or shouldn't have, or they would all be calling me and asking for things. And so he wanted me to understand what it meant to serve people, and he wanted me to remember the prize. And so again, if you properly value the heavenly prize, it will compel you to give of yourself and your resources. Fervency springs from a vision of heaven's rewards. So of course, I looked up in the good old dictionary, what does it mean to be fervent? Well, it means having or displaying a passionate intensity. I thought it was kind of funny because I've been accused of this before, and I don't know, different words mean different things. I'd rather be called passionate, that's what I always like to say about myself, rather than intense, but I've certainly been accused of being intense as well. But so you get the point. What do you believe in, and what do you, why do you want to do what you do? And so I believe that it's really made a difference for me to be passionate about doTERRA. I believe in it. I believe that it's changing people. I believe that it makes a difference in people's life, and I believe that it's affordable and that everyone can use it and that it works. So because I believe that to my core, it's not a sales pitch. It's just easy to share. So we're going to talk today about two things, sampling before a class and then actually doing a class. So something that I was reminded of when I was in Prague with Elise is I noticed everything she did, she put a lot of value on, and she created value for it. And what do I mean by that? Is some people could almost accuse her of being arrogant, or like thinking she's really feels highly of herself. It wasn't that so much as what she really is creating value for what she has to offer. And by creating value, it's like people want it. So in other words, it's not just taking a bunch of samples and throwing them at people and saying, here, try these. It was like creating value of how important they were in her life and how lucky they were that she was sharing with them. So I think that if we could do that, it would make a huge difference. So I had you create a list of 100, and then I had you rate them from 1 to 4, 1 being not sure if they're interested, to 4, they might be really interested. So then my challenge to you now would be to take the top 20. So hopefully, your 3s and 4s on the list. Take that top 20 of your 100 list. Start there. Don't start with the hard ones. Start with the easier ones. And use different verbiage that works for you. But I love that what she reminded us is don't sound desperate. Like, people don't like that. That's a turnoff. We don't want to sound desperate. Lane says, me too. Lane's always my encourager. But don't sound desperate. And you want to remind that you're kind of doing them a favor, and we really are. And you have to come at it from the right angle. So just remember that. Like, you love them enough that you want to share a good thing. And I thought about that. Why is it so easy for me when I go to a really good sale that I want to call someone up and go, guess what? They're almost giving this stuff away. Or when you find something that, just like is amazing, we do it for skincare or we do it for different things. How about our own health? How important is that? So that's what we have. We have a solution. We have an answer. We have something that's cheaper, safer, and more affordable. So if we really believe that, then how exciting would we not be to share this with our friends? So again, you have to come from the right angle. And then we can pick people on your team if you're in a position where you're helping your team. If you're in a position where you're learning from me today, or your leader, whether it be Jolie, Gwen, Gail, Carrie, whoever, go to your upline. But I'm offering today, if this is you, it's me here to help you. And like, I have plenty of stuff. Your upline has plenty of stuff. So you have no reason to say I don't have oils to share for samples. You need samples, see me or see your sponsor or enroller, and we'll totally help you. But anyways, you'd want to pick people on your team that know they want help. And if this is you, I want to pick you. If you say you want to build a business and you say you're ready, then I will help you supply oils. But what I want you to do is pick those 20 people, and you're going to be using different verbiage. One would be is, hey, my friend gave me a week and free samples to sample as many people as I could in a week, and I thought of you. Or my friend or my upline or my business partner, whatever feels best for you. You could say, my friend Sherry gave me enough samples for 20 people, and I remembered, for instance, Debbie, you had back pain, or Gwen, I remembered that you couldn't sleep. You're making it personal to them, and you're showing them how valuable they are in your life, that you thought of them. I remember that Gwen, you couldn't sleep, or I remember Jolie, that you had back pain. I remember Susie Q, that you said you had trouble sleeping. I remember Carrie, that you said you have trouble with allergies, and so I wanted to give you a sample to try. And we're not handing them carte blanche tons of samples, one. And again, you're making this really important that you're giving them one sample. And then you're making it really important that you are gonna follow up with them. And I think, myself included, this is where we fall through, is that we don't follow up. And I remember Kathy Hunsaker, when I met her, if any of you don't know her, she's our upline Blue Diamond in Las Vegas, and she's the one who shared doTERRA for the very first time with Becky Toth. Anyways, first time we ever had her to something at Lane's house, she had mentioned following up. And I was very guilty of this because I had just, in the beginning stages, handed out samples, and they cost about $3 by the time I had did the card and the samples. And then I never got their information. And she's saying, if you don't follow up, you might as well take $3 and just throw it in the trash can. And that was kind of like a ouch moment. So anyways, that stuck with me, the importance of following up. So you're going to give, again, you're going to call your friends, and this is one-on-one, warm. They appreciate you because you thought of them, and you're going to give them a sample, and then you're going to tell them, I will be calling up with you in 2 days to follow up. And then in 2 days, you are going to follow up and say, hey, Gwen, did you have an opportunity to try the Deep Blue I left with you? And if she said, oh no, I forgot, you're going to go, okay, Gwen, don't forget, use it tonight. I'm going to call you tomorrow. And then you're going to call her tomorrow, and it goes on like this. But what you're really doing is you're pre-qualifying people. And this is way different than how we used to do it, where we just invited everybody to classes. And there's nothing wrong with that, except for that it's kind of like cold calling. You really don't know if they're even interested in oils. So by sampling them, you're giving them warm customer service, you're showing them how much you care, but what you're really doing is you're pre-qualifying them. And Elise does this all the time, and it almost guarantees that when you have a class, you're just signing people up. You're just signing them up for wholesale, because what you're doing in the follow-up is you're finding out, how did the oils work for you? And you're only giving them one sample at a time. And here's the good news. There's no bad answer, because there's only two options. It worked, and they're like, wow, I really noticed I slept better. Or if it was breathing, wow, I could actually breathe after I used Breathe or Peppermint. Or, maybe it was they're a real moody person and very sad or down, and you gave them Elevation or Wild Orange. Whatever you gave them, you're following up. So there's only two ways it can go, and they're either extremely pleased, and they're like, wow, I'm open to that. And so then you're following up with a class invite. You already have 4 scheduled. We'll talk about that more in a second, but you already have 4 scheduled. But anyways, it's either that, or they'll say, no, it didn't work much. Now here's where it becomes really cool. You're not devastated. You're not sad. You're like, oh, I get it. You know how over-the-counter medicine, it's the same way. Some people enjoy Tylenol. Some people use Motrin. Some people use Bayer. There's different things for different people. Well, it's the same thing with essential oils. So you say, say you gave them, let's just say you gave them Deep Blue for back pain. You say, today I'm going to drop off some lemongrass because that seems to help with inflammation, and you're going to have them follow it up with maybe Deep Blue. Or you're going to say, let me give you peppermint. But you're really just giving them one oil at a time, and you're doing this and following up until you get a positive result. And then when you get a positive, and it's when you get a positive, that's who you invite to a class. You're not even inviting people who said, no, they didn't work. You're going to follow up until it works, because what do we know? We know they do work. And so, but we also know it's not just one oil for one issue. So it's very easy for you to give them the next oil that works. And remember, you're not curing cancer at this point. Why would we set yourself up for that kind of failure? You're setting yourself up for success, and you're setting your friend up for success. You're giving them oils to help a need. So again, it's a need that you can get a result for overnight. So you're dealing with, the breathing and the pain and the sleeping, all kinds of different things like that. So anyways, I will post, and you can get from me, I have conversation starters. So I have a whole couple pages, and I'm happy to send this to you. But it's all kinds of questions like, have you used essential oils, and then your follow-up response. And then have you heard of essential oils? And I'd like to give you a free sample. And are you open to natural things? Anyways, I can give you that. It's all kinds of ways of just going through conversations. And then there's class invites, there's casual one-on-one invites. There's all ways to pre-qualify them. And then I have sample texts for emailing people and texting people and doing a 2-week follow-up after classes. So this is all something you can get from me. And I will post, but I wanted to say it's way easier for me to not miss you if you email me and ask for anything that I might have mentioned. So let's just go through my email, and I will post this, but it's Keyesky, my last name, Keyesky, period, doTERRA, I think you know how to spell that, @gmail.com. So if you email me, I'll send you the sharing, scripts and how to follow up. So let's go forward. So that's pre-qualifying people, and it almost guarantees you're signing people at classes. And so because you're having all people that had positive results. So then, you have your conversation starter. You're going to start with your 20 top people on your list. And let's see. So let's talk about what holds us back. And again, I'm very good at talking about myself here. So most of the examples, I'll throw myself under the bus. But I think the biggest thing I think of is that we're just afraid, and fear holds us back. And fear is a bad thing, but what are we afraid of? Fear of follow-up, fear of rejection, fear of what if they ask me something I don't know enough, I don't look as smart as so-and-so, they teach so well, or they seem like an expert. But you got to go back to, again, the you, and why it's so important, you, because they have the connection with you, and you're the believability factor, and you are the relationship anyways. And nothing's better to set an example of, I don't know that answer, let me get back to you. Or let's pull out the Modern Essentials book and look it up together. I mean, those things are good because all you're doing is showing them that they can get the answers. And that's really what you want anyways, because I don't want to be the know-all, and I don't want them to call me for every answer. How many of you have been that boat before, where everyone's texting you and calling you, asking you for something that they could find anyways by looking it up in Modern Essentials? So really what we want to do is show them how we get the answers and how we learned. I'm not this wonderful, smart guru in oils. And I remember thinking the same thing, that, oh, Becky and Lane are so smart, and, I want to be that smart. Well, instead, it's better when they showed me that I can get those answers myself by looking in the Modern Essentials and doing work online. So I think that it's just super important to let's let go of those fears, and let's say, no, it's all about you and how good you are, and let's just give personal follow-up to people. So let's get rid of fear, and let's be real honest with something else, and I'm totally guilty of this, laziness. Just sometimes I don't take that next step to follow up or do my due diligence to learn something or help somebody. Lack of organization. I think that really hinders us. I know it's hindered me. And what do I mean by that? I was just thinking recently, this is embarrassing to me, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go there. I met this lady when I was getting my hair done. I was sitting under the dryer, and something came up. Oh, because she said she heard me talking about essential oils to the gal that was cutting my hair. So now I'm under the dryer, and she's asking me, okay, this is a perfect lead, right? So the hardest part is getting their information, but I actually said to her, if I can get your information, I'd be happy to send you some info. So she actually gave me her information. So this is like usually the hardest part. Do you know that I dropped the ball, and I just stuck it in my phone, and I totally forgot to follow up with her and to give her stuff, and that's really lame. So on my part. So I think it's really important to have some form of organization. All of ours is going to be different, but have some kind of tickler file to follow up with people. That's really going to be key right now. Sometimes you're driving in the car and you think of people like, oh yeah, they said they're interested. Or I think of somebody who I know would really be open to the oils. We need to write that down somewhere and keep track of it. So you need to have some kind of organization system. Anyways, I just don't want to waste not following up on people. So I want to go back to being the unique you. And a favorite book that I read years ago, hope you can see it, it's probably showing backwards, but it's The Fred Factor. And it's by Mark Sanborn. And what I love about The Fred Factor, if any of you haven't read it, is Fred was just an ordinary mailman, but he wasn't ordinary, and that's why somebody thought enough about him to write a book. The Fred Factor, why Mark Sanborn, why did he want to write about this mailman? The reason is because Fred was so unique. Some people might think, oh, he's a mailman. He loved what he did, or he made what he did important. And everybody loved this mailman, and he was so different. And I think sometimes we minimize what we're doing or our importance. So the whole book is amazing, but I wanted to summarize by reading you this. The author says, so I put the question to Fred, and his answers were concise but carefully considered. Fred is one of those people who is very purposeful about what and how he lives his life. He understands himself and what motivates him. His why, right? Again, we're talking about why. Here is the summary of what Fred told me motivates him to be a Fred. Well, it says, do good and you'll feel good. So in everything he did, no matter what it was, there was no mundane part of it, but that he felt good in what he did. He brought value to what he did. And then the best, never rest. Well, what does he mean by that? Well, some of us are overachievers anyways, but he said that he continued to answer the question by saying, I'm my own worst critic. But again, it's because he always wanted to bring the best and bring value to what he did. Fred is an example of noble effort combined with heart. If Fred were just a perfectionist, he wouldn't have the same effect on people. But it wasn't that he was a perfectionist, but Fred cares as much for people he serves as he does for how well he does his job. So I think integrity in his job is what it was that makes all the positive difference in the world. And 3 was that he treated customers and others as friends. Okay, I'm going to go back to sampling on that. When you tell a friend that you remembered that they shared with you that they had allergies, or that their kid was really having anxiety issues, or that they have pain, when you remember that, you're being a good friend. And that's what people all want, is for us to be authentic, and they want us to be friends and help them. So he treated customers and others as friends. Nobody can argue that Fred provides world-class service. Ironically, he's able to do that because he doesn't think in terms of customer service. I want to go home at the end of the day feeling like I've taken care of my folks, Fred said. I don't think of them as postal customers, but as friends who appreciate me for helping make their lives a little easier. So maybe we could think of our friends and helping make their life a little easier. And number 4 was that the impact you have on others is the reward. Wow. So just by us sharing is the reward. Just by us caring enough that we remembered that friend. Think about that. And number 5 is that Fred lives by the golden rule. Fred notices that his approach to life isn't the norm. I see a lot of me in the culture. I choose to give people a few less things to worry about. For me, it is as simple as living the golden rule, treating others as I'd like to be treated. Okay, so we all know this principle. How about we do that with our sampling or with our follow-up? And number 6 was fear nothing except to waste the moment. Here's that word fear again. And he says, I asked Fred, what one final piece of advice would you like to give readers of this book? He didn't hesitate one bit. Look to every day as a new day and make each day better than the last. So in summary, it says the Fred spirit. As the day of judgment, we shall not be asked what we have read, but what we have done. Okay, that statement got to me as well because, I love learning. I love reading books. I love going to seminars. I love conferences. But there's a point where we have to just quit learning and start doing, because it's worthless unless we get out and do something. So a little reminder here in the Fred book, it says, whom do we most remember? We remember those who lived to serve others. We are most impressed and affected not by what people gain, but by what they give. Not by what they conquer, but by what they contribute. So that's the Fred factor, and I know I want to be a contributor, and I want to be remembered for being passionate about something I believe in, helping my friends and sharing. So hopefully that will help you. So the basic of hosting a class. I think it helps to qualify the difference as who is taking the enrollment. I was just talking to Debbie about this last night. And the reason that matters is because if you're taking the enrollment, then you should be buying all the prizes or any, hostess presents, those kinds of things. You should be doing that. A lot of us do that anyways, and that's certainly your choice. But if you're helping someone build a business and they're taking the enrollment, ideally, you that's taking the enrollment, you're getting the fast start bonus the first 60 days. So that's money that's really to be used. It doesn't have to be, there's not written in stone, but Lane taught me this and I thought it was a good principle. You get that fast start bonus, that's a great money to throw back in the business. So you're getting 20% of their first 60 days. Average kit even is the Family Essentials kit, and that's 110 PV. So you're making $22 off that. That more than pays for you buying them a diffuser or buying them a book. Lane and I love, there's the little essential, what do you call it? The little, sorry, I'm doing a blank. I better look for what you fill in. Anyways, it's the little $15 Modern Essentials or the Essential Life book that's a spiral one. It costs you less than $15, so that's more than paid for by your Fast Start bonus. That's a great gift. I also love giving diffusers, because diffusers and books are the two things that right off the bat get people using oils. But either way, it doesn't matter who pays for it, but just to let you know, normally, I'd say rule of thumb is the enroller has the money from the Fast Start bonus to buy the gifts. If somebody is just hosting for you, they want to share and you're getting the benefit of it, then by all means, you need to compensate them. So find out what they want and give them, whether it's free oils or diffuser or different things, we want to compensate them. A lot of times you would even want to just give them the Fast Start bonus. You're going to have that customer the rest of your days or that person on your team. So that's why I say just know the difference of who's taking the enrollment. And then I have a couple things that I do now. And again, you can get these from me if you email me and ask for it. I have two different handouts that I do. One is just the basics of hosting the class, and it really is just basics, and it talks about simple snacks. And then it talks about, these are really just reminders too. It's reminding me what to pack for a class. It's reminding the person, because the whole goal of members is to be duplicatable and that they can do a class without you. So this is kind of like a checklist for a class. So it talks about doing the drawings. Make sure you have your drawing slips. Why do we do drawing slips? Because we're capturing the information, and we're finding out from that slip like what their needs are so that I can follow up, or whoever can follow up, whoever the enroller is going to be. And then your class handouts, we're going to go over class in a box in a second. Glasses, and why I like to use glasses, not plastic, members, because we're teaching people to, if we put essential oils in water, to use glasses. So I like to set the example and have glasses at a party. And then oils to pass is really, really simple. I mean, the Family Essential Kit's incredible, and I like to have wild orange. I always start with wild orange and peppermint. So this is just a reminder of what to have. And then always have your diffusers going. And then 3 experiences. You always want them to smell, taste, and apply the oils. You want to get the oils on them. You want to get them passed around. You want them to smell them and experience it. You want them to taste it. So we have snack ideas. So anyways, this is just how to host a class. I have this handout. And then I have suggestions for hosting. And again, I remind people to keep it simple. And a little story on myself there too. See, I love to tell stories of all the things I did wrong. But when I hosted my first class, a lot of you know, I do enjoy hosting, and I do enjoy making nice things and putting dishes out and doing lots of stuff. So I thought I was doing it really well, and I actually thought, wow, they're going to be so proud of me. And they were proud of me. But I remember that Jennifer, my sponsor, and that Lane, they came over and they're like, wow, because I had it laid all over my counter, and plus I had all these oils out. And they were just telling me, and I think at first I kind of had my feelings hurt because I wanted them to tell me how awesome the class was, my setup was. But what they were saying is it was amazing, and they said it's beautiful, and yay for you doing this, and they really were genuine about that. But they were just reminding me that it wasn't duplicatable, or it might be overwhelming, or that somebody might think, oh my gosh, I can't do it like Sherry. So the more I went on, I learned that exactly what they meant, and it's true, because you hear those comments. So Elise reminded us in Prague that you want to teach a class at 5th grade level, and honestly, you want to make it as simple as possible. You want it to be very duplicatable. I want people to look at me and go, I could do what she does. And the thing is, you do want that. You don't want to be offended by that. You want that absolutely right for you to say, yes, you can do this. And that's what I'm saying to you is we can do it. So anyways, suggestions on how to host a class. And this is what I send to them. And now what I started doing is I put those 2 pieces of paper in a thank you card. There's all different thank yous. You don't even have to have them made. I have these made on Shutterfly, and I've had cards made on Vistaprint. But a special plain old thank you card that you can get cheap at anywhere. You can just send a little thank you card. Hey, thanks for hosting. I'm really excited. We're going to have a class. And then now I stick these 2 pieces of paper in them, the suggestions for hosting and then how to host a class. So if you want those, email me and I'll give you those. Then back to, so we talked about how to do a class. We talked about sampling before a class. We talked about how you are special with the Fred factor. I'm going to go back to the why again, and I'm going to really recommend you read this book, Start with the Why by Simon Sinek. So I don't know if I said his name right. Anyways, just a little reminder here. This is on page 133 from this book. Talked about this guy I never heard of, Steve Ballmer. Well, he's actually the man who replaced Bill Gates. Well, I've never heard of him, so I don't know if you have. Why is that important? Because this could be us related to our classes. It said that Steve Ballmer is the man who replaced Bill Gates. He's the CEO of Microsoft, and he has tons of charisma and all that. And he bursts onto the stage with all this enthusiasm. He pumps his fist. He runs from the end of the stage to the other. He screams and he sweats. He's remarkable to watch, blah, blah, blah. I won't read the rest of it. But in contrast to Bill Gates, he's shy, he's awkward, he's a social misfit. Now, I don't know about you, but I know about Bill Gates. I didn't even know about Steve Ballmer. So how does this fit in with us? It says he does not fit the stereotype of the leader or of the multi-billion-dollar corporation. He's not the most energetic public speaker. When Bill Gates speaks, however, people listen with bated breath. And then it goes on to say, all the great leaders have charisma because all great leaders have clarity of why. There's that why word again. So all great leaders have charisma because all great leaders have clarity of why. An undenying belief in a purpose or a cause bigger than themselves. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And that's why I know doTERRA has been relatively easy for me to share, is because I'm so passionate about what it does for people. And it says it wasn't just what computers did that Gates saw the impact of the new technology. It was the why we needed them. So it wasn't, he didn't bore people with what computers did, but he was compelled with with passion about what they did for people and why it was important to their life. Charisma has nothing to do with energy. It comes from a clarity of why. It comes from the absolute conviction in an ideal bigger than ourselves. There we go again. So that I know, Lane, you love Simon. You turned me on to him. And clarity, I love clarity, because clarity is what makes a difference when we have a bad day. Clarity is what helps me to share no matter what. It's what I need to do. So let me see. I talked about my 2 handouts, my thank you cards. Oh, how about the KISS principle? Keep it simple. Mean people say stupid, but how about keep it simple, sissy. Keep it simple. What is it? Help me. Anyways, whatever you want the S to be. We want to keep it simple. And again, I wrote down my notes. Lane and Jennifer warning me in the beginning that I did too much. We want it to be duplicatable. And the other thing is, remember, we're not doing parties. We're doing classes. Classes is education. Most classes I go to, they don't even feed me. These people are lucky that we do give them some food, and that's because we want them to sample the essential oils. And let me tell you also why I don't sell product at classes anymore. That was another big mistake I made, is I had all my product out, and people, why would they need to sign up and enroll for a wholesale account if we're going to have product out? And I know sometimes in the very, very beginning, I get it, we want to sell, and then we want to sell wholesale even because we want to help get to our minimum. I never, ever, ever recommend doing that in a class. I do sell wholesale for like 2 times, and I always preface it that way. Hey, I'm going to allow you to buy from me wholesale a couple times to try the product, but I make sure that they know that I don't do this ongoing. Why would you? Because then they will never sign up for a wholesale account. And I remember Lane told me in one of her classes, she had a friend there that signed up, and then she had another friend that was there buying wholesale, that was buying wholesale from Lane at Lane's class. And then the one girl, her other friend said, well, so why would I even sign up, or why did I even sign up if you're going to sell to her wholesale? So I just don't think it's a good idea at all. I don't even put my new product out anymore. I only have my open bottles out for them to try. And then on the side, I will sell something to somebody wholesale to try. And I always tell them it's just a try. And the other thing is, because again, comes back to my belief that the very best deal is wholesale and the very best convenience is getting it in my own home. So because I believe that, and because I love LRP and getting 30% off and getting rebate, not only rebate points, but all my product of the month. And then like we just had the Immortelle, the gift with the 200. Because I really believe that, it's so easy to tell people, like, even though I'm giving them wholesale to try it, I'm not giving them all the rebate points. So I want what's best for them. I want to sign them up wholesale. So that's why I don't sell at class. I don't keep new stuff out. So it's all about pre-qualifying people. Wanted to mention, most of you know I just came off doing Diamond Club. And why do you think Diamond Club worked? It wasn't really the free oils. And if you really think that, I'll give you free oils that you can give for people as incentives, and so will your other upline. You just need to ask. We can run specials whenever you want. I'm totally open to doing that. But that is not why Diamond Club worked. I was thinking about each month the free things we had. I mean, they were okay, but the value was not that much. You know why Diamond Club worked? Because we did a heck of a lot of classes, thanks to all of you. We just did a lot of classes. And so back to the sampling of 20, we're going to talk about this even in more depth when we go through becoming elite in 6 weeks. But those of you who are starting out fresh, and those of you who really want to relaunch your business, you know what the key is? Sampling people, following up, inviting them to classes, and right off the bat, having 4 classes to offer. What's magic about 4 classes? So we're doing 2 things with that. One is, as you've already got those positive, those yeses, they like the oils, you immediately have a schedule of classes you're inviting them to. So let's say we would be sampling now the very first week of July. I would already have 4 classes in July already on the calendar that I can offer people to. So once I get that positive response, then I can say, great, I'm sure you'd love to learn more. I'm having these classes, and there are 4 of the same classes. Well, a lot of people, if I only had 1 class, like we all know this is common, if I only have 1 class, they may or may not can come to that. They might have soccer with the kids, or they may have something at church, all kinds of things. But if I have 4 classes and I'm having them varied between nighttime and morning time, and between weekday and weekend, so I might have 1 Saturday morning and 1 7 p.m. on Tuesday, 1 7 p.m. on Thursday, and 1 10 a.m. on Friday. When I scatter those 4 classes, they can come to one of them. That's almost positive that they can come to one. The other thing is, and this is where I want you to look me up, look up Jolie, Gwen, whoever your leader is if you're brand new and you want help teaching classes, okay, we have the 4 classes that's perfect for your friends. Now we know we can get them there. The other thing is, we're going to come to those 4 classes. The first one, if I was your leader, I'll teach it for you. If Gwen's your leader, etc., she'll teach it for you. The first one we'll teach for you. The second one, we'll let you intro and do a little beginning part, and then we'll do the close for you. The third one, we'll let you do everything and then just jump in. The fourth one, we're just going to sit in the crowd and cheer for you and let them know how lucky they are to have you. But basically, you see what I'm saying? In those 4 classes, you're going to learn to teach and be really, really comfortable at teaching. And your friends will have an opportunity to go to a class because you're having 4 different options. Very rare. But if you just have 1 class, and then they can't come, you're going to say, oh, shoot, see, I can't do this. People aren't interested. But it's not you at all. It's just their schedule. So that's the benefit of us having 4 classes right off the bat. And then we're going to follow that maybe the next 2 months with having 2 classes a month. That's what we need to do if we're talking about launching or relaunching, okay? So, again, let's go through my favorite, the class in the box, and why I love it. I love it because it is the best deal out there. Ugh. Oopsie. Okay. The class in the box. Let me tell you why it's such a good deal. It's in your back office, and it's $25. So it has enough things in there for 10 people. That's if I gave them everything as a set. We'll talk a second about how I piecemeal it. But there's enough sets in there for 10 people. So that comes to $2.50 a person. So this class in the box that is option actually is cheaper than when I used to do the sample cards and fill the sample bottles, that kind of thing. So let's see what's in them. I have a box of 10 wild oranges, which are amazing. And sometimes people say, how come doTERRA doesn't change it up? They've been doing wild orange forever. See, it's got your little bottle of wild orange. And I love this because it's a whole bottle. It's not just a little tiny sample. It's a nice 5 ml bottle. And you don't have to do this. This is just something I did because since I'm doing a wild orange themed class, I did an extra handout on wild orange. Again, happy to send this to you. One side is just exactly what you would print from doTERRA. I hope you all know how to do that. You go to the product, you click on the product, you go to the bottom. There's 2 tabs, and there's like resources, and then the whatever it is, the other tab for opening it up. But then I didn't know this, and Lane had to help me again. If you're wondering why it doesn't print the way it looks, go to the little, it's PIP, and it's product information page. It just says PIP. Click on that and print that, and you'll get this really nice flyer. I like it too because it has the retail and wholesale price. Just one more opportunity to remind them there's a difference between retail and wholesale. But then on the other side, I printed things straight from Aromatic Science, and I like that because I think it proves that it's not just about what doTERRA says, that there's other research out there. And so this is a really good flyer on wild orange. So there's lots and lots of uses, for your wild orange, from cleaning to your mood, and that it's so mood uplifting that you can taste it, put it in recipes. And I've already sent some recipes to the hostesses in my little class suggestion thing. So there's all kinds of recipes. So from fresh, it's very fresh, it's very mood helpful, it's good for taste, good for cleaning. So tons of things we can do with wild orange. Then we have the class invites. Now, a lot of people don't even mail anymore, so you can mail these, but what I do, because most people like email and text, is I take a picture. I know the glare is like that. I take a picture of the front, and then the back side has the information of when is the class, the date, the location. So I fill out just one of those. I take a picture of the back, and I take a picture of the front, and that's what I text people or email people, and it's really great. So you get all of those, you get like 20 of those, but you only need one, doing it my way. And then you get this Essentials 101. It has like 6 videos on here. These are amazing. These are professional. They have music with them, really good videos. There's 6. I recommend for doing a class that you choose 2, that you would open with one, you would do your own testimony or your own story, and then you would close with one. And that gives you 6 to choose from, and I would suggest choosing 2. They're great though. They're short. They're very short, and they're easy to follow, and they're good quality. And another thing, if you're like me and you buy class in the boxes all the time, you probably have tons of these. This is something now I can mail people, or I could drop off at their house so they can learn on their own when they can't come to a class. So there's lots of ways to use this. Then, okay, comes with like 10 of the handouts. This is where it becomes sweet, because guess what? If you can read, you can teach a class. And this is professional looking, and it's compliant. I don't have to worry, like if you're new, saying, oh, I know there's some things I can say and cannot say. Okay, this makes it so easy for you. And guess what? I love class participation. So what I like to do is bring people in with me and say, hey, Gwen, can you read number 1 for me? Hey, Jolie, can you read number 2 for me? Well, number 1, right there, what are essential oils? You can read these things. Whether you read them or you let someone in the class read them, you just go right through there. And then at the top, it has wild orange. If you haven't already, that's the time to pass the wild orange. Now, you don't have to give away the wild oranges, but if you chose to give them away, that's a good opportunity to say to them, and as a thank you, I have a free bottle of wild orange for all of you that came today. But you don't have to give that away. You can use 3 or 4 or however many and say, 3 of you are going to win this for a prize today. You can do whatever you want with the wild oranges. But now there's your chance to read about wild orange so they know, or read from the flyer that I made. And then frankincense, you read right there what frankincense does. Then you go right down to number 2 where it says, why doTERRA essential oils? I love this because I don't have to remember this. I can read it. And that prompts me, what is CPTG? Why is it different? And by the way, don't leave this element out of the class, because that is what sets us apart. And I always like to jump on board with that. I can read right from here and then say that's what sets us apart. And it's not just a stamp that they gave themselves because it's a cute little title. It's something they had to earn and go through a lot of checks and balances. And there's like 7 different checks and balances that doTERRA has to go through to be able to earn this stamp of approval to be CPTG. And then that they have empowering solutions. That's usually where I go into my story of that really is my buzzword, that they're empowering. What do I mean by that? And how have they changed my life? And then you can talk just a little bit about co-impact sourcing. It tells you about it here, whether or not you decide to share about that, and it might depend on your crowd. I love that. I love that we work with a company who uses parts of their money and their profit, but also their influence to help people in need in third world countries, and it's amazing. And then how to use the essential oils. Always, you have to remember to go through how you use them, the 3 ways to use them: aromatic, internal, and topical. And then I always go through the safeties, and that's the same thing I put on my handout of how to do a class. You know, you always just want to go through the, never in your eyes, nose, or ears, just the basics, but just you go through that. So really, I mean, that's all on one page, and that's amazing. And when we just read that and then add our own little bent to that, that's good. So that's there for you. And then I love the wholesale and retail. Now, everybody does this different. You do what works for you. But I love bringing people's attention to that there's a retail column and there's a wholesale column. And I can say something like, we'll talk more about that later, because we're going to close the class with talking about that. And so you have all your product right there. And then at the back, you have the kits. I love this one because you can go online and print the kits. There's all different places, but I love this one because it has the green circles of savings. And that is just key, and I hope you are familiar with that if you're new, that the kits are the best deal ever, and you have to get comfortable with that because, you can sign up for as low as $35, and you can remind people that, and I always say it's just like a Costco card because people understand that. Costco, I sign up for the privilege to buy wholesale, but Costco doesn't give me any groceries. That's the same with the wholesale account with doTERRA for $35. That's the privilege to buy wholesale for a year, but I don't get any free oils. Most people, the whole reason they're signing up is they want oils. If you buy a kit, doTERRA waives that $35. So I give an example of the Family Essentials kit. It's $150. But they waive the $35, so that really is like getting it for $115. Then on top of getting it for $115, they throw in the free peppermint and On Guard beadlets. That's almost another $29 in value there. So it's a huge savings, and so that's where it's reflected, these green circles of the savings. And then now I'm getting really comfortable explaining that the Home Essentials kit and the Family Essentials are the exact same oils. It's just that the Family Essentials is the 0.5 and the Home Essentials is the 0.15. So it's triple the oils, but not triple the price. When you're explaining that because you are helping your friends get the best value, that shows. That is not a sales pitch. That shows through that how much you care for them. So it really benefits you to understand what they're getting. And in the Home Essentials, they're getting a diffuser, which everybody needs. So just get familiar with the deals. And another thing I've learned the hard way, and I've learned this to be absolutely true, is don't assume people don't have money, and don't assume people want the cheapest kit. Like, don't just offer up the Family Essentials kit, because I know now, and all of you that are on here know that we can only buy the enrollment kit once. And I wish I would have known, and I usually say this, if I would know what I know now, I would have bought a different enrollment kit and saved more money. But I get it, we don't really know that until it's too late. But it just puts a little reminder out there of the value of the kit. So that's just explaining the kit. And then you go right to the forms to fill out the form. And I just suggest that you do that at home later, that you just collect the forms just for time's sake, because we want to keep them there. And something that I learned that is just huge from Elise Sedovy in Prague was that she, at every single class, not every once in a while, but at every single class, at the end of the class, she invites people to stay for a 30-minute business meeting if they're interested at all in knowing the business side of doTERRA. Because what she's reminding us that she knows is that our business compensation is every bit or more wonderful than our product even. So she keeps them there. In fact, she does it a little even different. She doesn't even bring out the dessert until afterwards. So she starts the class, gets the class done in an hour, like we always recommend, 30 minutes of the teaching part, 30 minutes of, your social and whatever else you're doing in the beginning. But then at your hour, you're done, and then you're inviting them to stay for a real quick business overview. This would be very quick of, your benefits of what you've received compensation wise, and give them a little bit overview of the business. And we'll talk about more about that later, because tonight we're going to talk about the business side of doTERRA. But so anyways, you want it to be super, super duplicatable. You want it to be at 5th grade level. You've got this awesome resource to hand out. And then, by the way, I've always said there's a user, sharer, and a builder. And a user is just the person who loves the product and uses it, but for whatever reason doesn't tell people. And the sharer, they don't want to do the business, but they're much more than a user because they can't help themselves. They love the product so much they can't help talking about us. That's a sharer. And then the builder is a person that says, I would like to either supplement or replace my income. So that's a user, sharer, or builder. And I've always explained it that way. But I love the way Elise puts it. She says, here this evening in this class, there's 3 types of people. There's one of you that says, oh my gosh, I love natural health and I love using the product. And I'm so glad I'm here. And another one of you says, oh my gosh, I could think of so many other people that would love this. I would love to wish my mom was here, wish my friend was here. Well, what you are is you're a person who just can't help sharing about it. And we call that free healthcare, because guess what? You're going to earn your oils for free. And then there's the person, those of you here tonight, that you might be interested in supplementing or replacing your income. And I'd love to have you stay just for a quick 30 minutes, enjoy the peppermint brownies that we have, and I'd love to share with you the business side of doTERRA. End of story, done. So I love that. I think that works a lot better. And then you close the class, inviting them to choose a kit that's right for them. If you have the Modern Essentials books with you, more than just one, you would invite them to, you'd leave a book with them and say, here, why don't you check this out? Let's find the solution for you tonight. What's the one thing we want to start with first? And we'll come around and help you with that, and then find the kit that's right for you. And then that's how you would kind of close them. And you need to get comfortable in your clothes. I do like just saying that there's 3 ways to get them. There's retail, and why would anybody want to buy retail? I know I wouldn't. Or I like Elise's new way, and I did start this the last of May. I started saying this is there's retail, but nobody here will buy retail. That's for chiropractors and offices that will be buying wholesale. And then there's wholesale, and then there's better than wholesale, a way where you buy wholesale and then get free oils and money back. We can help you more with that. So it's non-salesy. You're just telling them there's 3 ways to get the oils: retail, wholesale, and better than wholesale. So that's what you're doing there. Then it has the 20, I think there's 10 of these, 10 magazines. Okay, let's do the math again. These magazines are $1.50 if you bought them just one by yourself online. The Wild Orange, the 15 is $10.50, and this is a third of that. So this is worth about, $4 for this. So this is worth $4. This is worth $1.50. So that's $5.50 right there. And remember, you bought this whole box that was for 10 people for $25. So $2.50. So look at your deal. So whether, again, you decide to give them out together or just make them available, you have these awesome magazines. And why I like the magazines even better than the product guide is because it has all the product in it. But I always draw people's attention to, they have articles in here, and they have recipes in here, and there's just so much good stuff in here. So that's the magazine. So that's that. So anyways, the magazines, the handout, the 6 videos that make you look like a pro, the invitations that you can take a picture of and write your info, the Wild Orange you can get from me, how to do a class you can get. So are you running out of excuses yet? How to teach a class? It really, seriously, I'm not trying to be sarcastic here, but if we can read, we can teach. If we can invite people to read with us, we can teach. If we can sit around, have people to our house over a pot of coffee, we can do a class. It's really just sharing what you know and experiencing. Remember, again, people are there for you. They're your friends or acquaintances or work people. They are there for you. And so make yourself realize that, how special you are and that what you have to offer. And testimonies, that is the secret sauce, is what have they done for you? So anyways, tonight we're going to be talking about following up after class and sharing the business side of doTERRA. But I just hope your walk away today is, get that class in the box. It's $25. There is no PV on that, probably because they lose money on it. But it's such a great deal. You can buy that and use the Wild Orange for prizes or for gifts for people or sharing. Sample people first, because set yourself up for success. And on sampling, let's talk about really quick. I love, you can buy these little tiny baggies, and I put in here like an On Guard, a Breathe, a toothpaste. That's samples. You know, everybody, the pain seems to be a huge thing, so you can give your deep blue sample. The wild orange in the box, it also comes with these, your little tear outs and primary benefits of the wild orange, and you can place this on the orange and give that away. And then doTERRA, they have these, you know, samples. You know, you buy one, you get one free of the boxes. And here's your 3 samples of the blends and then the sample trios. These are amazing and they're a good deal, and you can do that. People are loving the shampoo. Make sure and put your address on the back, your label again. That's where I made the mistake in the beginning. If you're gonna spend the money for samples, be sure that people can follow up with you. And then I didn't highlight yet the other main thing in the box. Sorry, didn't open it out. They have a user share and builder guide. Here's the builder one. And again, it means you don't have to be the expert. You don't have to remember everything. Sorry about that. I wanted to open it with you, so I didn't get it all out. But we have Living doTERRA, which just talks about the 85% of people that are just using the oil and how to use it. So we have the Living doTERRA. And then we have Sharing doTERRA. And you know what? How many of you haven't even opened these yet to know? This Sharing doTERRA, if you open this up, towards, I think, the middle, it has these papers that are perforated, has a little hole in it. You can punch that out, and you can, these are all tear off. And this is for you to attach to your little sample bottle. So like this is lemon, it talks about the primary benefits. And you can give them your sample, and you can buy your little sample bottles at Aroma Tools or the Oil Life, whatever. But I think so many people don't even know these are in there. So they're setting you up for success. So use the sharing and use these for the handouts, for the samples. And then there's the Building doTERRA. Here's why I like this. Again, I'll be talking more about this tonight. But this has the average income that people make with doTERRA. So now you can share, and you know what's good? Again, using your own story. If you're already making money, share what you make. This is why I'm pretty vocal about what I've been making. I like to share about it because it was a blessing I was never expecting, and it's amazing. But if you're new and you don't have your own story yet, then share about someone you know. You know what I'm making. You know what Kathy Hunsacker's making. And if not, go to the page in here that talks about what the average income is, and you know, share about that. These are true stories of what is average, and we're not talking about the rock star. We're just talking about the average person who puts time into it. And we'll talk about more of that tonight when we talk about the business. But I just want to let you know that it's so important just to know that you have everything you need. doTERRA has set us up for success. And I'll tell you, the diamonds, every time I go to a conference and I hear the diamonds talk, they remind us how lucky we are that when they started with doTERRA, none of this was available. That is true. We're spoiled now because they've made these things for us. Yes, Lane's reminder is she agrees with me to take the forms home, because sometimes when we're enrolling people, because we want to really hurry, that we make mistakes. So just tell them, people really don't expect you to do it there anyways. Take the enrollment forms home with you and do it so you don't make mistakes. And then follow up is everything, but we're going to be talking about that later too. So just remember your why. Remember how special you are. Be the unique Fred. Be who you are, because that's what matters. So know your why. Make your invite list. We're going to follow up with the top 20 on your list. Be the unique you. Start inviting now. If any of you after this say, you know, I'm ready, I can do this. Whoever your leader is, your upline, I want you to go to them. They will do these classes with you, like I said. And I'm happy to come back to San Diego. If you're in San Diego and you need my help and you're directly under me, I would love to help you. Let's do it strategic. And I look back at, you know, unfortunately, I learned this midway. I was almost done, actually. Actually, I was done. Diamond Club ended in May, and I went to Prague in May. So 2 weeks before Diamond Club was over, I learned all this about how to pre-qualify people and how to sample effectively. And I look back at my classes that nobody showed up, or that I had little interest, and I look back, and that's because we didn't do this pre-qualifying. And so it's a huge difference. So set yourself up for success Be a good friend, give good customer service by giving people an oil to try. And I have to tell you, I think I just got really lucky in the beginning that I was able to sign people with on the first time. But truly, most people say it takes between like 5 and 8 touches before people will do something and make a decision. So those of us who've got it in less than that are just really lucky. But you really do need to get oils on them. Get them to experience the oil. So go out and sample people. Make a plan. Let's decide when you want to kick this off, and let's schedule classes. Classes are the key. That is the magic. No matter how much we like to pretend there's some other secret sauce, there's not. It's the law of averages. Again, that's what I believe why Diamond Club is successful, because how they had us do it was do a lot of classes. And that was the key. It wasn't the free stuff. It wasn't the magic of Diamond Club. It was we were doing a lot of classes. So let's get going on classes. Let's get them on the calendar and go to whoever your enroller or sponsor is. We want to help you. So let's get going. We have tons of oils. If that's holding you back, you can get rid of that excuse too. I got oils for you. So let's just go and let's sample people and let's get going. And so thanks for being here. You're kind of with me in Idaho. It's super hot here. I feel like I'm back in El Cajon. So I'll be live again tonight, 7 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock. I got to stay up. I'll try not to be in my pajamas. At 8 o'clock my time tonight. And we'll go over following up after a class and sharing the business side of doTERRA. So thanks so much. I'll read your comments, any of them that I missed. And see you tonight. Thanks, guys.